The true essence of who Al Jefferson is, a look at the Utah Jazz big men and what Tyrone Corbin's noticed so far. What did Locked on Jazz TV show us? Plus a look around the NBA, including who's the fourth best team in the West. It's all coming up next on today's edition of Tip-Off. I'm still in the same hotel with the same curtains and the same view behind me. It's only been 3 days, but it certainly feels like we've been here longer. Finally get to play today. Thank goodness. How are you? It's kind of a funky road trip. Sometimes I wonder how much this whole thing is supposed to be just sharing with you what it's like, the life, what's going on, all those kind of things, and then also how much of this is just what's going on with the Jazz. To share a little of kind of the life of the road. This is the only time all year we spend all this time in one hotel room. One hotel, it's a fabulous hotel. It's really nice and all of that, but it's kind of weird. It makes it a little different to what it usually is. The crazy life less, what do you do? So my day yesterday was got up, did a bunch of work, went on a run, came back, did some more work, went to practice. Kevin Arnovitz of ESPN and I went to lunch together, came back, did more work, editing a lot of the production pieces, and then walked for 4 or 5 miles looking for a place to eat just by myself in my book. Bill Oram, the Salt Lake Tribune writer, actually gave me the book The Road, which I dug into. By the way, how many of you out there are travelers who want me to do Yelp and things like that, so you actually just want to know where we go and places that you I kind of feel like I would do it if I thought one of you out there would eat at a better restaurant or have a better night, because we who travel all the time and have access to concierge and things like that choose where to go. And I don't know, let me know so I could do that. So anyway, it's just, I don't know what there's no point of this. It's just kind of, it was a very somewhat lonely existence yesterday, just kind of that isolation of the road, and actually then went out with John Reinhart and at the end, who's our PR guy and awesome, but that's just kind of what the world is, talking back, Skyping with the kids as much as possible, all that kind of stuff. So, all right, that was really boring. Hope everyone's doing well. Bill Oram wrote a piece yesterday, or tweeted out, about Jefferson working with Cantor. I'll tell you guys what, and I think this is interesting. I've talked to a lot of people about this. Al Jefferson is true and true all the way through. In other words, there's no agenda. In a free agent year, there's no agenda. He's not trying to lure anyone. He's not playing any tricks. He's not worrying about himself. It's just not who he is. And this might be the key to the season, because I think Paul Millsap falls in this in a different fashion. And there have been plenty of times, and if Ben Bagley's listening to this, he's going to hear this and laugh, because we've talked about this a lot. There have been plenty of times where I've interviewed Paul or been around Paul, and he's pissed. He's either not starting and he's pissed, or he just thinks he's not getting the ball enough and he's pissed, or whatever it might be, because he's human, because he's just like anyone else, and he's pissed. And then when it gets to be game time, he can't do anything but play the game correctly. That's just who Paul Millsap is. And I think Al Jefferson's the same thing. I'm sure if there's nights where Al doesn't get his touches or Al doesn't get some of his stuff this year, he's going to be pissed, and there's a free agent element to it. But at the core of who he is, I'm not sure he can – he's a good dude. He's good to other people. He's true and true all the way through. I can't tell you who, but there's certain positions and people inside an organization that would know these things, whether they're true or not, who see the real guy, and they just rave about the individual and person that Al Jefferson is. His intentions are flawless. His quality of who he is a person, flawless. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to be liked. He wants to be loved. He openly admits he was the class clown at school. That everyone in the community came around him because he was, and that's how he wants it. And so as we head into this kind of year, he's going to help Cantor, and he's going to help Faves, and he's going to bring the guys to Santa Barbara, and that's who he is. And I don't think there's any circumstance outside of that that can make him suddenly do or be somebody else. And I think that's really one of the most interesting aspects of the season, and a tribute to kind of who he is as well. I asked Tyrone yesterday about the fact that he finally's gotten to see Jefferson and Favors together. And Tyrone said he liked our size there. Derek has become better at reading Al. He's willing to take the free throw line jumper off Al being in the post. He's gotten better at choosing when to dive into the post and when to bring his man in that direction. He likes the versatility that those guys have together. So that was what Ty said. He then, asked, said he's also been able to see a little bit of Al and Ennis. It was very short period of time, which he admitted, but Ennis's ability to expand his game and play the game a little differently than he has suddenly opened up Tyrone's eyes that free throw line jumper from Ennis is probably a better offensive idea than a free throw line jumper from Faves. That plus Ennis now runs the floor, and I think a lot of this transition is based on you got to have one big being able to run the floor. Al's not a big runner; he does very little in transition. But if the other big comes through first, then Al can get to his post spot second for the secondary offense, and Al can run better this year than he has in years past. But so Ty was talking about how Ennis can run the. He also just talked about it gives them the rebounding advantage is tremendous. He is a little worried about what they do on the perimeter. The other night, Cantor got matched up and had to guard Antoine Jameson for a possession or two, and I thought that was of interest to see, and that's just a tough one. We might see that again today against the Lakers. Tyrone, I think, will continue to play guys tonight and tomorrow. The only thing I kind of got a vibe from Tyrone that we might see differently is I think he'd like to see Cantor on front-tier guys. Now, Dwight's not playing tonight, so I'm not sure how that's going to be, and I'm not sure what the Clippers are going to roll out at us. But he did mention yesterday, Tyrone said, hey, guys aren't playing their regular guys, so some of this evaluation is hard to do. And I think before the coaching staff decides that they think Cantor's a 25-minute-a-night guy with all these double-doubles or something of that sort, and how they would possibly integrate that into the system, I have no idea. But that is, I think they would like to be able to see that he is at least doing it against guys that are not Robert Smolja or Greg Smolja or whatever his name was, and Robbie Aguilar, who got cut from a D-League team. I had lunch with Kevin Arnovitz yesterday, who's just a good dude. I hope you've read some of his stuff. He's done, he does great statistical work. He's also done some really interesting work. He's out of the closet, openly gay, whatever you want to, I don't know what the phraseology of it is. And he's done a bunch of work on the perspective of things from that angle. Not a bunch. He's done kind of one a year. He just did something recently about players coming out. Very good guy. Great basketball mind. Super fun to chat with. I really enjoy him. And we talked yesterday, and it's the first person I have found who also doesn't like the Clips a great deal, who thinks that the Clippers' existence is a bit fragile. It will be interesting to talk to people on Wednesday. Brian Seaman, their play-by-play announcer, and I are good friends, but every play-by-play announcer at this point of the season is positive about where his team is going. I probably in a little bit more of the kind of who are we, I'm not sure. He had some good insight on Randy Foye and Mo Williams. He just really believes that Randy is a 2, not a 1, which may really turn out to be true. And he really generally thought Mo got the shaft in L.A. and would be a good, would probably be a pretty good fit here. So he was very positive. He's a very positive guy. He's not one of those guys who just rags on everyone. But it was interesting. I still kind of question the Clippers. Our consensus, the big three is Oklahoma City, L.A., and San Antonio in the West. And then our consensus kind of was Denver is 4. Now, Denver, their center situation with Mozgov, Costa, and JaVale McGee's a little funky, and it sounds like McGee's coming off the bench. And, do they have enough there? But if Wilson Chandler ever gets healthy, plus you've got Ty Lawson, and I love Danilo Gallinari, and, the thing that's really preventing them from taking the next step is I don't know how they finish games. And that curtailed them a little bit last year. But if you recall, last year I picked them to be second in the West. I thought they would do really well, and then they didn't hold their home court advantage the way they usually have over years past. So if they get that, both Utah and Denver, those are the only two teams in the NBA that have a legitimate home field court advantage, and that's been statistically proven. So both of them, if they can suddenly go get the 30 wins at home and be 30 and 12 at home, or 32 and 10 at home, then you just need to go get 15 or 20 road wins, and you're rolling. And I think Denver can do that, and I think Denver probably ends up fourth in the West in many ways. That's kind of, if I had to pencil it in, I don't know where I'm going fifth. Maybe it's Memphis at this point, Clippers 6, Jazz 7. Dallas suddenly becomes very interesting. Dirk Nowitzki has major swelling in his knee. Then it went down. Now it's back again. But it's been the third or fourth time. He's trying to delay surgery, but I can't believe anyone's reading the stories on Dirk and thinks he's going to have anything but surgery. As I've talked about, he's at 37,500 minutes in his career, though that's a tough number. And both the Clippers and Dallas, I don't love what they've done with their rosters, but they have a star in a league driven by stars. And so they'll win close games. The Clippers just won a tremendous amount of close games last year because Chris Paul is awesome. And Dallas wins close games because nobody is better than Dirk. And late in games, you're getting a shot off. And, everyone, I love the two arguments are, well, Dirk doesn't really need that athleticism. I hear the same thing on Chauncey. Okay, Memo didn't need it either, and he didn't come back. So, these guys, when they start to get old and they start to either have these significant injuries and they lose that step, the argument that the non-athletic guy didn't need that step, I disagree with strongly. I think the non-athletic guy misses that step, and it's over pretty quickly for those guys. So, we'll keep an eye on it. But I think if they lose Dirk for any extended period of time, they just become a very pedestrian team. I haven't heard all the details, but I IM'd with him. The rumor out there is Kevin Pelton's projection system has Minnesota very, very high, and really likes Minnesota. And we probably should start, legitimately considering whether Minnesota is a playoff team as well. But I'll keep fiddling around with that and talking to people. Let me update you on a few things. Costa last night, by the way, Costa Koufos, had 13 points and 13 rebounds in 16 minutes. He's a great rebounder. He's doing good things, but to the point of Cantor a little bit. Big guys right now, second-tier big guys. Nicholson at Orlando had a big day yesterday. Big Baby had like 28 for Orlando. Big guys are having big preseasons right now, and it's because primary big guys don't play a lot of minutes in the preseason. And there aren't that many. And Bynum and Howard aren't playing. So just, again, caution numbers from big guys. Great news out of Cleveland. C.J. Miles looks as though he's going to be the starting small forward for the Cavaliers. I couldn't be happier for him. 17 points in 19 minutes last night. Hopefully he clicks in. His time here was done, and he was getting less good, so maybe the new environment will do it for him. Damian Lillard showed a little rookiness yesterday. He was 1 of 6 in the first half. He got going in the second half and had 20. He had 3 assists and 4 turnovers in the game, so he's still learning, but he's been very good. And then in Sacramento, they gave Aaron Brooks the start. We talked about this yesterday. It'll be interesting to see what they do starting lineup-wise. This wasn't great. They brought Isaiah Thomas off the bench. Jimmer played 2 minutes till the fourth quarter, then played the entire fourth quarter and played very well. So hopefully Jimmer gets another shot here at some point. But he had those kind of scrub fourth quarter minutes and played them well. Monday Night Football last night was insane. I hope you got a chance to see it. I don't know if I was clear on this yesterday for Ute fans just at the backside of this. I thought Travis Wilson was good. Not great. I mean, not like wow, but I thought he was really good. I mean, it was nice to have a quarterback who could make the throws. You got to have a quarterback who can make the throws. There's no reason to believe that he's not going to be fine. And this is good experience and good time for him and a good stretch of opponents. So finally some good news in that regard for what's taking place at Utah with Travis Wilson. So, all right, BYU, huge game against Notre Dame. Hopefully you guys are getting to go out, and some of you are going out to see that one because that's what college football is about, a chance to go see that, play that game, be a part of it. All right, that is tip-off today from Los Angeles. I hope you enjoyed Locked on Jazz TV and the kind of signs of transition. The important things there were really to see that not only can Mo go fast, but that they get into the secondary offense and that you have both Gordon Hayward and Marvin Williams being able to bring it up, and that's kind of what changes what this team is. That is today's edition of Tip-Off. I sure hope you're well. There should be a Two Guys on the 12 podcast today. It's a little more complicated with me on the road, but I'll have to check base with Ian and see what he's got going on and what's possible for him. And I think I'm going to vocal at noon today, so I'll send that out for you as well. Bye.